de my phone.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Rhino.
What is up, everybody? Welcome in on a Tuesday. We are a little bit late. We have had some server issues the last 24 hours. We've got them ironed out, though. You know what today is. It's a couple things. It's
Taco Tuesday!
It's an off day for the Kings, coming off of a loss. Time to get right for them. You know, they've not had a contact practice since training camp. So does that change between now and Friday? Maybe a little bit, probably not. It's time to get your core, get them rested. De'Aaron Fox coming off a heater. You're reigning Western Conference Player of the Week. We've got news on Domas, Malik, and DeMar. Hey, by the way, really quick, I just want to throw this out there. Go to my X page. If you're interested in this, at Ryan_in_Sacktown, you can also go to DeMar DeRozan's page on the X and check out, he's doing a webinar tonight at 5 o'clock about his book that came out right before the season, Above the Noise, Chasing My Calm. He's going to be doing a webinar that you can sign up for. It's completely free. If it's worth your time, if you've read the book, if you know the backstory from the book, go check it out. I have a commitment at 5 o'clock, but I am signed up for it. So I'm probably going to be doing two things at once. But, you know, mental health, it's a big thing. It's a huge thing. It affects everyone in some way. And so DeMar's going to be taking questions, talking about his story, talking about the book. So go. You can find the link to sign up on my page, also DeMar's page. But welcome in on a Tuesday. We're going to go about an hour today. You got Grant coming up later tonight, 8 o'clock. He'll be doing an open forum show. I'm not sure if I'm going to be joining him or not, but I can promise you he will be here talking NFL, talking everything we have not hit on over the past few days because of Kings basketball. Tuesdays, by the way, around here are an exciting day. In the offseason, we have Jerry Reynolds. Just because Jerry moves to Wednesdays during the regular season does not mean that we don't have a Jerry. In fact, we've got Jerry Jones.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Jerry Jones does his weekly hit on 105.3 in Dallas, and he always leaves us with stuff to talk about. He is a content machine. I mean, if you don't believe me, stuff like this.
There's a pony in here somewhere is the old adage with the boy scooping up the manure on Christmas Day and whistling while he was doing it. Here comes Santa Claus. Well, that's us. There's a pony in here somewhere is the boy scooping up the manure on Christmas Day.
Oh, good old Jerry Jones. He did his hit today on 105.3, and yes, it was entertaining. There were some things that make you wonder, why is he in front of a camera anymore? He ducked a bunch of questions, and yes, we'll probably have to go to the judges for some clarifications on a few answers. It's become a weekly thing around here that we check in with Jerry Jones. His team getting killed last night, by the way. The Texans pick up the dub. The Cowboys played, 2 quarters of decent football? Mike McCarthy, fake punt. Yeah, not a great idea. If you want to get in on the show, we'd love to have you. You can get involved in the chat. You can also, we'll open it up too. Grant does open forums. I've been getting a ton of questions via email, via DM, via X, and I've answered none of them. I've gotten a few of them here on the show. So if you want to mix in some of those, I'm happy to answer some since today's a little bit of a different show. Usually we start at 1 o'clock. Starting next week, we're going to be going back to our 2 o'clock time slot. So you can also call the show as well. QR code up there in the corner. If you want to call in, you can also use the link that is in the chat. You know what? Let's kick it off with this guy is a legend around here. Al, my friend, what's up, dude? I got you, Al. You there, Al? We'll give Al another chance here in a second. Zakara, what's up? Fear a losing streak coming, guys? These next 4 games are awful. Well, Zach, dude, don't look now. The rest of the schedule is brutal. The easiest part of the Kings schedule is done. Now, here's the good news. This is the good news. All 3 guys have been cleared for individual work. So the goal is to have them back on Friday. That is the target, to have Malik, DeMar, and Domas back on Friday. Now, will that happen? We'll see. Does Malik love playing against the Clippers? Absolutely. And Malik's been on the bench. He's been walking around. He looks nimble. So I think that there's a good shot that if you're going to get one of the 3, it's definitely Malik. Now, DeMar and Domas, that's a little bit different. Think about Domas. I don't have the number off the top of my head, but he's missed like less than 5 games in his career in Sacramento. So if it's something that's keeping him off the court, then it's something that's really bugging him. An avulsion fracture could not keep him off the court for more than 1 game. This has been 2 games. So anyways, a lot of Kings content. We've got Jerry Jones as well. We can talk about anything that you guys want to go over. By the way, you saw the title of the show. Put that back up. The Kings 7 losses, and I know that we've got a little bit of panic because the Kings are 8-7 on the season, or 8-7, I believe. Let me make sure I say that right. I don't want to say that wrong. That is an important thing. The Kings, yes, are 8-7 on the season, but their 7 losses. Check this out. Been by a combined 14 points. Credit to the G-Man on that one. So if you're looking for a little optimism, do you remember the Kings net rating this time last year? Do you remember the differential between wins and losses? They were a +20 when they won and a -20 when they lost. So the Kings are playing close games. That is a good thing. You're getting dudes that are really getting some extra minutes on the end of the bench, that a bench that we thought was anemic, which still is kind of anemic, but now they've got a little bit of flow. They've gotten some minutes. They were ready to play. So does that maybe pick up Mike Brown's bench a little bit and give him a little bit of an extra faith in this team? Al keeps trying to call, but he says that Restream keeps crashing when he tries to call. Al, that's weird, dude. We've been working out a server issue with them. I don't know why it's doing that. You can keep trying. Let me put another link in there for you. Maybe that will make it better. If not, I see you still there. Nope, you keep falling off. All right. Al, I am sorry about that. I want to hear from you, man. I do want to hear from you. So keep trying. I put the new link in there. Try that. See what happens. Flores, what's up, dude? You predict the Kings will be under 500 by the end of November. Please prove me wrong, Kings. Yeah, you guys want to look at the schedule really quick? We can run down the schedule. Let me pull that up for everybody. Or actually, I have it for myself. So let me pull it up. Let's run down the rest of the schedule for November. I don't think... I'm not as concerned as you are about that. So we're in LA starting Friday. That's an NBA Cup game. Yeah, the server, like I said, that's why we are on late today. The server was crashing last night. If anybody follows me on X, I was blowing up the people that handle our server. I'm like, what the hell's going on? This can't happen during the basketball season. Fix it. So we'll continue to pass it along, Al. I have no idea why it's doing that. Put your stuff in the chat, Al, and we'll talk about it that way. Let's see. So you've got LA on the 22nd, Friday, NBA Cup game. Then you're at home against Brooklyn. You're at home against Oklahoma City. You're at Minnesota. You're at Portland. We're going to probably get something set up for that one. One of my friends, Chad in Portland, he is a talk radio host, sports radio host out in Portland, covers the Trailblazers. Will maybe collaborate for a show before that game to talk about the two teams. Portland's been playing better basketball as of late. They knocked off who'd they knock off? Minnesota twice in a row. So there you go. And then you are at home against San Antonio. Now, December is a weird month. And this is why December's weird. You're at home against San Antonio. You get your first taste of Houston, and Houston's playing good basketball right now. Then you're at Memphis, at San Antonio. You're home against Utah. And then you start your 3-game stretch with the Lakers. You play the Lakers 3 times in a span of like 10 days. So you're at home against the Lakers on December 19th. You're at home a night later or 2 nights later, the 22nd against the 21st against the Lakers. Then you've got the Pacers, you've got the Pistons. Then you are at LA on the 28th. So you play the Lakers 3 times from the 19th to the 28th. So if I'm looking at the schedule right now, honestly, if I'm looking at the schedule, y'all, no, he is not here. Stop it. Stop it. Stop. Royale. Who did that? Who did that? Royale, get the hell out of here. You are not welcome on this show. You were sent to Cincinnati. Even De'Aaron Fox said, "What the F is that?" when he saw your creepy face. You're not welcome here, bro. Get out of here, Royale. Royale, I am all for having lots of different people tuning into the King's Court, but you are not a person. In fact, I don't know what you are. You know what, Royale? Actually, I take that back. Royale, I would love to hear from you. I bet the phones will work for you since they don't work for anybody else. Give us a call, Royale. I'd love to hear which mall kiosk you got those big red sneaker slippers from. I haven't seen those in years. I would love to cop another pair of those. Isn't that what the kids say? Cop a pair of those? I don't know. Yeah, okay. That's funny. Royale, whoever did that, good job. Good job by you. I will acknowledge that.
Acknowledge me.
Good job by you. So back to the schedule really quick. The schedule, Grant and I both agreed early on was the best stretch that the Kings had to kind of put a little padding in their record, get some fat reserves for the quote unquote schedule losses that every team typically has. We saw one in Toronto. We saw another. Well, they actually did well in the one against Toronto coming off the road trip, first game back at home. They ended up winning that. But this is actually a stretch where I think you can have a little bit of success. So if you're worried about them being under 500 after the month of November, I'm okay with it because you got San Antonio, Houston. Houston's a tough game. Memphis, tough game. But then you go San Antonio, Utah, LA twice, Indiana, Detroit, LA again, and then Dallas on the 30th. So that's actually not, compared to the rest of the schedule, that is not a bad stretch. So I think you're going to see a different Kings team now that you have De'Aaron Fox getting downhill. I truly believe that. Things are different. He is seeing how it changes the basketball team and how it changes his game too. You don't think Fox is like, oh, I want to be all NBA and I can get to the paint anytime I want? Okay, I'll just keep doing this. Do it. Make Vivek pay you that money. Because you know what? When he does that, the Kings win. I came up with the Fox formula. 3-point attempts need to be in the same neighborhood as assists. And he has done that for the most part over the last 3-game stretch. So very good. Oh, I got to get Royale off the screen. Holy moly. Royale, go away. Get out of here. You are no longer welcome, but you can stay in the chat. Happy to hear from you. Kings lose last night. A little bit of a heartbreaker. The 2-minute report came out, by the way, and the NBA has said that was not, let me repeat myself, that was not a foul on De'Aaron Fox. The NBA is saying that they got it right. So there you go. Enough of that conversation. But I will say that was a poorly reffed game last night. Kings did not lose because of that, but it is a poorly called game. Yes, I know. It's funny. Zach, remember they're expected to play bad in December because the families are coming home for the holidays. Ooh, burn, Katie. You know, Katie, she had a line last night, and I love Katie. I have no issues with Katie. Katie tries really, really hard. She went from sideline reporter to analyst. That's not an easy thing to do, by the way. And she doesn't have a consistent partner to like build up that whatever you want to call it. You call it numerous things. Build up the chemistry, build up, you know what I mean? She doesn't have, like Grant and I. It's taken a while for Grant and I to understand each other's little tells, to understand flow and ebb, give and take, right? Well, Katie's bouncing back and forth between Mark Jones, Kyle Draper. Y'all know how I feel about Mark Jones. Nothing personal against the man, but he treats Sacramento broadcasts like his playground, in my opinion. Kyle Draper, love the dude. Think that he is pretty damn good at what he does and could not respect his transparency, his mission, and what he's been through. And I really like it. Yeah, chemistry. Good job. So, but Katie last night, she had a line that was really, really cringe. Really cringe. In fact, I'm surprised it did not catch traction. And I'm happy for her that it did not catch traction. Not going to repeat it here because I don't want it to catch traction. It shouldn't be repeated. But in our culture, in cancel culture, it was probably not a good thing to say. Now, 30 years ago, probably wouldn't have been a problem. But today, definitely a problem. Don't forget, we are going to be talking about Jerry Jones here in a little bit. Jera, we have clips from his weekly interview. Look at how happy he is. He's so thrilled. My Cowboys, they're playing hard. It's November. It's the best time of the year. I'm shining up my big red kettle to start bringing it out for the holidays. Jerry's so happy right there. Look at him. Anyways, Derek, what's up, dude? Can't watch the Kings announcers, although I do like them both as people. And that's a preference thing. Look, I've said it since I've started doing this. We are already, whether we realize it or not, probably judging whoever is sitting in those chairs unconsciously. Like, we are putting them behind the 8 ball because they're not Grant and Jerry. Like, there's no way that subconsciously that is not playing into our thought process. But it is perplexing that Vivek and many others are okay with the product that is being presented to the fans via the broadcast. I think that there is a lot of things that could be cleaned up. By no means am I a professional broadcaster in terms of calling basketball games. It's not my cup of tea, nor do I ever see myself calling basketball games. But I just wish that there was consistency. That's it. Give Katie somebody that she knows she's going to be sitting next to every night, because it's not about the 2.5 hours on the air. It's about the travel together. It's about building relationships. And I think that's a tough thing, but I get it. I get it. You just got to realize you could have the best announcers in the league and they're still not going to be Grant and Jerry, to many of you who grew up with Grant and Jerry. Let's see. Big Al, trying to get him on the show. I don't know why it's not working out. Bills finally get the dub on the Chiefs, but let's see it in the playoffs. Yeah, that's usually the time that it doesn't happen, but you do have to give Sean McDermott some credit. and I completely agree talking about questionable announcers. Tony Romo, he's a hard one to listen to. He is one that I also have to mute much of the time. But the fact that Sean McDermott went and snatched the win away from the Chiefs instead of letting the Chiefs have a chance to win it, that was huge. Now, are you going to make that same call in the playoffs? I mean, Al, do you think he's going to make that call in the playoffs? I don't know. I would hope so because you want consistency. But dude is probably on one of the hotter seats in the NFL right now, regardless of their record, regardless of their success. And Buffalo is a team, we talk about it all the time with the NBA, and Boston, great example of this. New York, a great example of this, where teams are already very, very good, but they're still taking risks. They're still improving their rosters. They're not standing pat. You saw that with Boston, getting Drew Holiday, getting Porzingis. What's it lead to? A championship, right? And in some ways, the Bills have done that as well. They got rid of Diggs. That was a big, big move. Or excuse me, not Diggs. Yeah, they got rid of Diggs. And so it's one of those things where it's just like, holy crap. Anyways, all right, let's get back to the chat. Nye, what's up? How are you? Kings play best when they move the ball. Did they not have a timeout at the end of the game? They did. It's a fair question. It is a fair question to ask. I was okay with it, simply for the fact that you had the ball in De'Aaron Fox's hands. That was the first thing. The second thing, De'Aaron was coming downhill. It was kind of it had been a funky game up until that point. And the fact that De'Aaron is coming off 109 points over a 2-game span, a back-to-back span, basically, that to me was like, all right, ride the hot hand, see if he can get a look, because really Atlanta didn't show the ability to stop him all night for the most part. De'Aaron stopped himself more than Atlanta stopped him. He just missed some good looks, or he got fouled. So if you call that timeout, now you have no timeout left if you can't get the ball inbounded. And the defense has the opportunity to set their defense. So it's a coin flip there. I could see both ways where you would want a timeout, where you wouldn't want a timeout. I will say this in defense of Mike Brown. I thought Coach Brown, and I said this in the pregame show before the game against the Jazz, I said Coach Brown is going to have to be the other MVP of the game besides De'Aaron Fox. And he was in that game, keeping his challenge, something he did not do the night before in a big situation, and then challenging back plays down the stretch that really put that game out of reach. That was a big move, and Coach had a great game that game. And he went deep into his bench, something that we hadn't seen him do a ton of. In fact, here was Coach Brown after the game last night.
Man, our guys fought tonight. They gave us a chance to win. I thought, in the fourth quarter, we might have passed up 1 or 2 threes, I think, in the quarter, but I thought we did a pretty good job letting it fly. Obviously, we missed a lot in the fourth. I don't know what we were from the three-point line, but they didn't go in. I thought they were all pretty good shots. We ended up scoring 15 points that quarter, and that's what hurt us. But again, I thought, we did a pretty good job trying to touch the paint and spray it. I know Trey had a wide open one off of Foxy touching the paint in the right corner or the right side of the floor, and we got to keep letting it go, especially when teams collapse like they do on the dribble drive, like Atlanta did tonight on the dribble drive. We lost Atlanta a little bit in transition game, and to get it outscored 18-7 is a little tough. But our guys, we have to do a better job as a unit of taking away our opponent's transition. They got a couple of really, really easy ones, mainly because we were running to our man and not not playing our rules.
I disagree. I disagree with Coach Brown there. And I'm going to tell you why. The Kings' defensive rating is pretty good. And coach doesn't exactly have the best ingredients to cook with when it comes to guys that are defensive minded, that are considered defensive players. You look at their defensive rating as we sit today, it's 14th in the NBA. If you remember at the end of 22-23, when coach did his exit interview, he said, if we could just get our defense to the middle of the pack, if we could be a middle of the pack defensive team, this team would be special. And that's what this team is right now. Their defensive rating, they are middle of the pack. Now, the problem is the three-pointers. You look at them guarding the three-point line. The percentage, worrisome. Second worst in the NBA at guarding the three-point line. Second worst. They allow 40%. Or excuse me, 38%. 38% to their opponents, three-point percentage on a nightly basis. Here's the more worrying statistic to me. It's three-point attempts. They allow 40 per game. That is second worst in the NBA. The Kings' rotations need to be looked at. The way that the defensive, and Luke Laux, I think he's doing a great job. I love Luke. And what he's done with Fox and some of the other guys has been great. But there is an issue with the Kings' help defense because night after night after night after night after night, and I'm not talking about the trapping. That's completely separate. We're leaving the trap out of this conversation. But night after night, somebody is always wide ass open. And in the NBA, unless your name is Keegan Murray, I love you, Keegan, and you're open, you're going to hit that shot more times than not. And the more worrisome thing is, when I go back and look at the film, these rotations where these guys are getting the shots are in the corners. The corner three is the easiest triple on the floor. So to Coach Brown saying that they didn't play by their principles, I'm questioning the principles when it comes to defensive rotations in transition because the numbers bear it. Your defense is really good. Really good. Other than that, you're 12th in steals. It's the threes. What would their defensive rating be if they weren't second worst in the NBA there? What would it be? They'd be top 6, top 7. Okay, you're going to give up 38% from beyond the arc. Okay, well, that's okay if you only give up, I don't know, 22 threes a game. But when you're 28th in the NBA in allowing three-point attempts and you're giving up 40 of them a night, that's not going to work, especially in a three-point shooting league. So that is what's a little bit more troublesome to me. Coach Brown continues.
But a heck of a job by Keon. I mean, we've been on him about, hey, if you're open, let that thing go. And tonight he let it go. Yeah, he's a good shooter. He shot, 40-something% from the three when he was in the G League. I even think last year he was around 40. And so we know he can shoot the basketball. And it was great to see him step into it and let it fly tonight. At the end of the game, we got what we wanted. We got to stop. We wanted to go so they wouldn't make subs and bring defensive guys in the game. And Atlanta made a good play.
Hey, Coach, was part of the game plan tonight to try to...
Atlanta did make a good play, but it was a wide open play. DeAndre Hunter, wide open, smashes a three-pointer, puts him up 4. And I know he's talking about the defensive play, but we've seen that story too many times. So what is that adjustment? I don't know. I'm not a coach. I'm not proposing to know what the adjustment should be, but there is a clear adjustment that needs to be made in this defense. There just is. I don't know how else to say it. But that being said, the Kings are 8-7. They've lost 7 games by a combined total of 14 points. They're playing close games, and they played through 3 games, more than 3 games, without a lot of their core. So I don't think it's as bad as some fans think it is. And you've also got Keegan Murray struggling on the offensive end. That's an entirely different conversation that we had yesterday. We can continue having that one. Let's see, Nihai, Ryan, Ryan, do you think Mike Brown can become a great coach? Mike Brown is a pretty damn good coach. And here's the thing about it. Here's what confuses me. Mike Brown, and part of this is the ingredients. It's the players. He does not have a roster of defensive-minded players. In fact, you could argue, well, I guess we haven't seen what Devin Carter is going to be, but you could argue that he really does not have a defensive guy on a true just defensive stopper. Probably Keon's the closest. But Mike Brown's teams in the past, when he has coached the 82-game season, twice in his coaching career, they have been the best teams in the NBA at defending the three-pointer. So, so is it the players? Is it the system? I don't know. Whatever it is, it's got to be tweaked. And that trap that we saw in Atlanta, that you can't do that in the NBA anymore. You just can't do it. You can do it here and there, but you can't do it more than a couple times in a game. Just like, Sabonis, sometimes you'll notice this. Sabonis will jump passing lanes. He waits for the perfect time to do it. He knows it's going to be there, but he waits for the perfect time in the game because he knows he can only do it once. And more times than not, he will get that deflection, get a wide open dunk. So it's kind of one of those plays. I want to get to, because I recognize this name and it has been up here and I haven't got to it yet. Melissa, she chimed in about the announcers. Hold on, let me find it. Our chat is moving so fast on. Here we go. Melissa Mason. Melissa, correct me if I'm wrong. Your name looks incredibly familiar to me. You do stuff around the Kings too, right? You're a Kings content creator. I know that name. So Melissa, happy to have you in here. I don't watch them either. Like Katie, but Mark is hard to listen to. Mark, look, I could go the rest of the show, which is about 30 minutes, about Mark Jones, and it has nothing to do with him not being Grant or him not being Draper. It has everything to do with his style and his approach when he does games in Sacramento. I challenge you to go watch a game that Mark Jones does nationally. NBA does them all the time. He's probably doing one tonight. Or no, he'll be doing one tomorrow. ESPN's tomorrow. Tonight is TNT. Shout out, by the way, Inside the NBA. Hell yeah, moving to ESPN next year. But Mark, go watch the difference in how he does a game on the national stage versus how he does a game in Sacramento. It's like, okay, it's time to be an adult when you're on national TV, but it's just Sacramento. I'm going to treat it as my playground. Now we can't even say mid-range jumper. It's got to be midi. And now anytime somebody goes for a fake, they're on a flight. It's completely cringe. It's incredibly cringe. All of these damn sayings, maybe one of them will show up on a national broadcast. So my problem with Mark Jones is be yourself. Why are you not being yourself in Sacramento? Or are you being yourself in Sacramento and you're not being yourself on national TV? Who is Mark Jones? Mike Jones? Who? Mike Jones? No, Mark Jones. Who's Mark Jones? Seriously, who is he? And I feel like also, speaking of Katie, he walks all over Katie at times. Just completely walks all over her. So that's my problem with him. And look, where I was rubbed the wrong way was when he complained about missing a flight because the game went to overtime. Don't act like you're one of us here in Sacramento, Mark. You can't wait to get out of Sacramento, my man. So don't act like you're one of us. Drapes, you're one of us. Katie, you're one of us. Mark, you are not. Could you be one of us? Yes, you absolutely could. It's your choice, dude. Not ours. We're pretty accepting as Kings fans. Just saying. PK, I keep saying over and over, grab a big man over Len, snag JaVale McGee before the Lakers do. No, I disagree with that. The Kings, look, size is not everything. Certain teams, size is going to hurt you. But you know the counter to size? Speed. They have an advantage being bigger. We have an advantage being quicker. And you've got to be able to use that. That's why if you look at the Kings' overall standings in the league with their not power rankings, but I call them the power statistics, Monty McNair, Coach Brown, training camp, said that he wanted the pace to be in the top 5 in the NBA. Right now, the Kings are at 15th. 15th. Now, is some of that a little bit because of De'Aaron Fox? Yes. Is it going to probably go up? Yes, if De'Aaron continues touching the paint the way he has. In fact, I'll put these up. I still have them from the pregame show the other night. Check this out. This was De'Aaron's shot chart against Utah. Look at how beautiful that is. It's when he scored 49. Here's his shot chart against Minnesota. Look at how beautiful that is. Look at how efficient that is. He also got to the free throw line in this game, I believe, 19 times off the top of my head. PK, I get what you're saying. JaVale McGee, though, my man, is not a pick and roll center. JaVale McGee, as much as I respect him as a professional, there is a reason he was or is in the Shaq Tina-Fool Hall of Fame. Dude has 2 left feet. He's a great dude to be around the team, great mentor, great leader, but he is not the guy that you want running the pick and roll. Now, what you want a bigger dose of, and we saw it, I have been calling for it all season, is more time on the floor with Sabonis and Monk together. And you saw that the game that Malik got hurt. Coach Brown made the adjustment, so Malik was on the floor with Domas, and the pick and roll game was humming. Those two play so well off of each other, and the pick and roll is the perfect change of pace for the motion offense, the free-flowing offense that the Kings run. It gives you a dose of physicality mixed in with the precision. So you have your pick and roll guy. It's Domas Sabonis. You just need to get him healthy. And if you need to get more pick and roll, Valanciunas, my bad. Yeah, I still like Domas and Malik better. I do. I get it. Thanks for helping me out there, buddy. But yeah, and give Orlando Robinson a shot. I'm just telling you. I think Larry would make it a nice addition, maybe. Who's Larry? Who are you guys talking about? Larry Bird? See, he coming back to the NBA? What's up, y'all? What's up, PK? Bane, I can't see your faces, dude. Face, Funchia, tongue out. The hell does that mean, Bane? Jason, what's up, dude? Welcome in today. Did you watch Jim Rex High Roller's latest video on the NBA and three-pointers? Please do. The point that you just made will be justified. Interesting. No, I don't even know who that is. I don't know who that is. Thanks for being here, by the way, on an impromptu edition of the King's Court. We've been dealing with some server issues, so we're here a little bit late. Don't forget, the one, Mr. Napier, the principal of this channel, If You Don't Like That will be back at 8 o'clock tonight. I'm guessing he's going to be solo. I don't think I'm going to be back with him tonight, but come back. Enjoy Grant. He'll be taking your questions. He'll be talking whatever you want to talk. NFL, NBA, Kings. We're going to go over the Western Conference here in a few minutes. We also still have sound from Jerry Jones that we're going to get to because it is a Tuesday and it is a Jerry Tuesday. Appreciate it, dude, for putting that link in there. I will go try to check that out. Ash, what's up? Don't think they really have lower back tightness. What do you mean, dude? They definitely have lower back tightness. Come on, man. Come on. You think they're just sit out? Rest management. It's not Sabonis' style. Jason 2.52. Okay. Yeah, okay, cool. Good. He's got a lot of followers. He has a lot of followers. Good for him. All right, let's listen to some more Coach Brown after last night's game.
Make Trey more of a playmaker rather than him beating you with scoring? And if so, how do you feel like you guys did in executing?
Thank you. Yeah, we didn't want him coming in here and getting 30-something and the game be easy for them. We wanted to see if somebody else could beat us, and they made enough plays to make it happen. And like I said, if somebody were to tell me that it's going to be a 1-point game and you're going to only score 14 points in the fourth quarter, I think obviously you give Atlanta credit. I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but we're better than 15 points in the fourth quarter. So I thought our game plan was pretty good. I thought it came down to us missing a handful of shots in that fourth quarter that we normally knock down, because on the flip side, we held them to 20. So our defense was pretty good too in that fourth quarter. We just didn't knock down the shots that were given to us at a consistent level. We didn't even have to do it at a high level, but at a consistent level in that last quarter.
Mike, the
fourth quarter
left in the
was
fourth.
definitely rough
They
for
hit
the
a three.
Kings when it
Fox
came to
against
scoring.
the,
Also,
technical foul. Do you think
free throw attempts were not great last night. Kings did not get to the line as much as they normally do. Although, for those saying the Kings got a bad whistle, they did get one more free throw than the Atlanta Hawks. Fox got that tech. I don't really have a huge problem with it. I know some people do. He definitely has toned it down this year, in my opinion. It was a lot worse last year with the chirping at the officials. Maybe the wrong time, probably the wrong time to try to fire up your team when you're in that close of a game. Coach Brown talking about the fourth quarter scoring. This is what it looked like for the Kings. Really bad. You got 7 points from your starters in the fourth quarter. All 7 coming from De'Aaron. You got 6 from Keon, and you got 2 from Dougie McBuckets in the fourth quarter. Speaking of the NBA, speaking of the West, let's talk about it really quick. At the top of the West, you got OKC, 11-3, Golden State behind them, 10-3. The Lakers, remember, you got the Lakers 3 times in the month of December, basically 3 times in the span of less than 10 days. They are 9-4. Houston, 10-5. Phoenix, 9-6. Denver, 7-5. Memphis, 8-6. Minnesota, 8-6. Clippers and Kings both at 8-7 round out the top 10. The Clippers have the tiebreaker right now because they have already beat the Kings once. Now, what I am looking at, not so much is record. What I'm looking at is their team's net ratings. The Kings right now are a plus 3.2. Net rating does not lie. Net rating tells you the story of a team. It tells you if a team is consistent or not. The Clippers net rating, they are a plus 0.1. So a plus 0.1. The Timberwolves, they're a plus 2.8. The Grizzlies, a plus 7.7. The Nuggets, only a plus 0.6. Phoenix, they are a negative 1.5. Now, when you get to the top of the West, it changes. Houston, plus 7.9. The Lakers, plus 1.0. So are the Lakers playing a little bit out of their league right now? Maybe. Golden State plus 9.5 and Oklahoma City plus 11.9. That tells you those two teams are well-rounded. That tells you those two teams are probably not going to be going anywhere in this Western Conference. And it probably, I would say Golden State, the surprise of the year so far. I'm not sure how many people could make an argument against that. Okay. John Wilkes Booth is in the house. How old are you, John? Like 200 now? John Wilkes Booth. Wow. Larry Nance Jr. Yeah, he is Larry Nance Jr. I like him a lot. He skewered the Kings last year, especially in the play-in game. So yeah, no, I like Larry Nance. He would be a good fit here. Kings lost a ton of close games. They've lost 7 games by a combined 14 points. 7 games by a combined 14 points. Well, if he's a bad backup, why has he been here multiple years? I think we're scapegoating right now. Y'all realize the problem with the Kings is not the back of the bench. It's not where the problem is. The back of the bench is not 28th in the NBA at allowing 3-point attempts and 29th in the NBA at opponents' 3-point percentage. That is not because the back of the bench. That's not the problem, but I get it. Bane, if you don't count the schedule losses, injury-related losses, or close games, we'd be undefeated. Good job, Bane. Good job, Bane. What am I going to do with you, dude? What am I going to do with you? All right, so I promised you some Jerry Jones audio. It is a Tuesday, which means we talk about our good friend, Jerry Jones. The gift that keeps giving. The guy that just cannot get out of his own way. Did you see the circle of media around Jerry Jones last night after the Texans game against the Cowboys? It was obscene how many reporters were surrounding Jerry Jones. And it's what he lives for. Derek, that is not how it works around here, dude. You don't just ask to be acknowledged. You have to be acknowledged by the host.
Acknowledge me.
Now the producer overrules me. He just acknowledged you, Derek. See what's going to happen now? People come in here and they ask to be acknowledged, and they're just going to get acknowledged. All I'm going to be doing is hitting this all day.
Acknowledge me.
All day. Come on. No, it's all good. I acknowledge all of you. Anyways, Jerry Jones. He, the last couple weeks, arguably should not have been in front of a microphone, but every week, he is the only owner, by the way, that goes in front of the media. Goes in front of the media after every... Dude, thank my producer. The producer acknowledged you. It wasn't me, my man. Anyways, getting back to Jerry. He goes in front of the media, and there's no reason for it, man. It's so silly. It's a pony show. Jerry, man, if you want to do your weekly hit, do your weekly hit. That's cool. But what do you have to say that's going to make the situation any better for Cowboys fans after a game? There is nothing Jerry Jones can say to the media after a bad loss that's going to make the situation better. It's only going to stir the pot even more. What are you, Dennis? Dennis, what am I going to do with you, dude? Alex Len had like 2 or 3 blocks in the first few minutes of the game last night, man. Are you upset because he's shooting the 3? Come on. You guys think Alex Len is the worst player on the Kings roster? You really think Alex Len is the worst player on the Kings roster, PK, too? He is not the worst player on the Kings roster. He is not even close to the worst player on the Kings roster. Not going to go into who the worst player is. You know why? Because everybody on that roster is a 1%er, part of the 1% of the world that is the best at basketball in this universe, well, you're entitled to your opinion. All good. I'll put it up. That's your opinion. I just disagree with it. Anyways, getting back to Jerry. Moss, what's up? The Cowboys will get way less attention once Jerry's gone. Will they? Stephen Jones is going to be right there. Stephen Jones will be right there running the show. So Jerry did his weekly hit this week on 105.3. Here's our first soundbite from the one and only Jerry Jones.
I took advantage of the fact that we were in there with that kind of crew. One of the things that has been a real handicap for us is that by having a young offensive line, apparently the nuances of making the calls and having more than one, let's say, rookie up there at the same time, that making the call and that coordination that goes on there. And boy, those guys are a team within a team. They're coordinating there all the time, making their calls. Everybody does it. We're not doing a very good job of it. And it's telling. That's been one of the surprises of the year is that we're not getting the coordinated play in the offensive line. You can blame it on youth, but you can blame it on youth because we've got some good talent up there.
Wait, what was that, Jerry? You can't blame it on youth, but you can blame it on youth?
On youth, because we've got some good talent up there.
How'd that go one more time?
The coordinated play in the offensive line. You can blame it on youth, but you can blame it on youth because we've got some good talent up there.
No, I didn't stomp my feet on his couch. Yeah, I remember stomping my feet on his couch. It's Jerry doing the Chappelle show now, the Rick James skit. Okay. I'm going to say this one time and one time only. It is strictly my opinion. You are an idiot. If you judge a player by plus minus. You are an idiot. If that is your sole judgment of a player, you are not taking into account the times that they are on the floor. You are not taking into account a ton of different factors. Do you realize De'Aaron Fox's plus minus during his 60-point game was at points negative? Are you saying the same thing about De'Aaron Fox? Plus minus is the most deceiving stat in basketball. Bad. It's bad. And Dennis, you know I love you, brother. But if that is your argument, Alex Len is the worst player on the Kings because his plus minus is negative 47. But Dennis, then you don't understand the stat, my man. You don't understand that stat. Go research that stat. If that is how players were truly judged, if that stat had as much credence as you are giving it, then we would not be talking about some of the NBA players that we consider stars, faces of the league in the same light. We would be calling them bad players. Okay, great. But okay, again, you're not taking into account the fact that he is playing at times in blowouts. The majority of his minutes come in blowouts, Dennis. Alex Len was not getting significant minutes until Domas got hurt, my man. What I'm telling you is you can have your opinion about Alex Len. My opinion right now is about people that look at a plus minus stat and form their judgment on a player solely off of the plus minus. How many times do you hear basketball analysts hang their hat on a player's plus minus? Nearly, almost never. So I can respect the opinion that you think he's the worst player, But I can't respect that, oh, he's the worst on the team because his plus minus is the worst. It's not a good argument, dude. You got to do your research on what that stat really is. Have you done your splits research? Have you looked at the 36-minute splits? Have you looked at the possession splits? Have you looked at the point shares? Have you looked at the defensive splits? Plus minus does not take any of that into consideration, man. That's all I'm saying. It's a misjudging, it's a misleading statistic. It's what it is. It's very misleading. It's incredibly misleading. So be careful when you look at that stat and then rush to a judgment. If your opinion is solely off of that stat, you got to reconsider. You got to look at how that stat is formulated, my man. You got to. Anyways, yes, even players see this as a circus. Yeah, Jerry's rich. He can buy another couch. Yeah, exactly. He can buy another couch. So Jerry, apparently he knows the inner workings of an offensive line. He gets all that, right? Well, he continues. He just keeps going. The hits keep coming. Just wait. Here's Jerry again.
You're talking about
With the trade.
Triple Rush or Trey Lance?
With Trey.
No, we knew exactly where Trey Lance was when he left San Francisco. He was, fourth, fifth pick in the draft. We knew he hadn't played much football. He has improved dramatically. Unlike you've got to get out there and you've got to play. We have thought it was just too important for us to have him at rookie quarterback in these last two ball games, because we need to win to that degree and give ourselves every chance we can. We hadn't gotten to the point that we were basically looking to evaluate Trey Lance more at all. And so that's where we are. I liked, I know where a fourth round pick is, and I've seen him good, and I've seen Dak Prescott's a fourth round pick, but I've seen a lot of fourth round picks that didn't work out too. So we really have really worked with Trey. We have evaluated Trey. We'll see what the future brings here over the next few weeks, but I'm satisfied where we are.
Hold on. Did Jerry Jones, in the same thought, forget that Trey Lance was the fourth pick overall? He acknowledged it at the beginning, and then he called him a fourth round pick in between 97 us. Now, I'm not going to sit here and make fun of this dude if he is having cognitive difficulties, Alzheimer's, dementia, things of that nature are serious, and there's no cure for him. I have a family member that's battling Alzheimer's. But the point that I am going to make is, if this dude is battling something, and clearly he might be battling something, listen to that response. You got to pull him back from the media. You got to quit putting him out there. You've got to stop him from himself. You know, I was with a Cowboys fan this last weekend, and I picked his brain about, like, how do you support this team yet, just get driven to the same place because the owner, and his responses to me were really, really interesting. And he had a beef with the fact that they re-signed Prescott. He thought that they should have let him walk. But Cowboys fan seems to be, or at least this one, was resigned to it just comes with the territory. If you're a Cowboys fan, part of being a Cowboys fan, but I'm starting to question if Jerry's really there. I really am. And I'm kind of worried for his health. And I'm calling out to the Dallas Cowboys. I'm calling out to anybody in Jerry Jones's circle, anybody close to the NFL. Give this guy a call. Make sure he is okay mentally and physically. And get him away from the media until then. And it continued to kind of get worse. Here's Jerry again.
How to get $18,000 in 24 hours, part 2.
For every guy out on the football field. And so we've got it covered now in terms of numbers. For every guy out on the responsibility here. We've
Up to $100,000 without any.
Well, I think that everybody's got a responsibility here. We've got 32 coaches. And that's 3 coaches for every guy out on the football field. And
32 coaches. That's 3 guys for every guy out on the football field. So, which way are you taking that? Are you taking that as he's talking about the 11 that are on the field at any time during the game? Or has he forgot that he has a 53-man roster? You see what I'm saying? If you're a Cowboys fan, you got to be a little worried when this is your GM. This is your GM. He's the decision maker.
It's always the issue. Do you want to walk around head coach, or do you want a one that's really in front of the team and everybody put an emphasis with his time on one side of the ball or the other, and does the walk around too? You get it both ways. You've seen it done successfully both ways. I've always thought that the coach that was actually making the call gained on credibility in front of the team, but a lot of people look at it differently. We've done it both ways.
Of course, a lot of people look at it differently, Jerry. You are the head coach, my man. The media is asking you after every single game. Well, what about this play? Why? What did you think about this? Well, we evaluated. This guy talks like the coach, talks like the GM, he talks like the owner. It's Dallas's problem. This dude is too involved. I'm not going to play any more sound clips, but he went on to talk about, how many meetings he's been in where they evaluate, the offensive line and schemes. And it's like, that's not what an owner does. We know in Sacramento, Vivek's gotten some flack for meddling. The funny one that everybody talks about, allegedly he wanted to play a goofy defense, right? That's one thing. This is completely different. This is micromanagement. And anytime you put somebody else into that situation that's not a yes man, they don't last very long. Jimmy Johnson, Bill Parcells. But guess what does happen when you put them into that situation? Cowboys are successful. It's an interesting thing. It is a very interesting thing. Hey, Baki, I have 2 minutes left in the show. You get it.
I don't know if I can put it in 2 minutes, but okay. Very interesting story and interesting talk about Len, and I won't say he's the worst guy in the team, because you cannot know anything about it because of the minutes. But what I noticed in the games, in previous 2 games when Sabonis is out, and I don't know, I would like you to tell me if you agree or not, that Coach Mike Brown tried to get the things going with. So after a few minutes, he realized that maybe to go with the position 5, like with Lyle. So I don't know. It's no matter what I think about coach, it's very difficult to have those minutes and to spread who will play and when. So because those small things can literally change the game or win or lose the game, like tonight. I mean, you had a great game for all the team. Great game, really, last night. But okay, they are full team. Boggy was back. We are without 3 stars. So if you ask me, it's a great game. But how can you put Len and in which minutes he's gonna play? I mean, sometimes he get really great decisions in the court, but it's not easy. It's very, very difficult in those few minutes to decide what to do. I mean, the guy shoot the 3. Why not? He was alone. Why not shooting the 3? It's not forbidden. You agree, or I don't know.
Yeah, you broke
But-
up during some of it. Here's what I know. Alex Len is on the roster. He is one of those break the glass and pull the lever in case of emergency. He's also on the roster for games when the teams play super big teams and you need to show them a different look. My problem with the coaching staff, and it's not a problem, my critique of the coaching staff, Baki, is you need to tailor your system around your players' strengths. Alex Len is not a DHO guy. Alex Len has never been a DHO guy. And so the Kings coaching staff sometimes will tailor it, like you see the pick and roll with Sabonis and Monk, but then they don't tailor it at other times during the game. If you're asking Alex Len to run DHOs, if you're asking some of the other guys that aren't Sabonis to do Sabonis things, you're not going to get the same result as you get with Sabonis. So I think it's a mixture. You've got to play to the strengths of your personnel, which isn't always a bad thing because then you're giving the defense multiple looks.
Yeah, I agree. It's a mixture of things, but also you might know that what coach will try to practice anything without 3 or 4 players. I mean, you are with 3 players which are crucial for the Kings are out. So you gotta figure it out in the practice and the training, those situational things, what to play when Len is in the play, what kind of game we're gonna bring when Lyles, because Lyles had a big role last night. I mean, not only for you saw Lyles in previous games was only shooting the ball. Last night, Lyles organized a lot of things on the court, because they seems to be very loose when those starters are out. I mean, I'm not gonna say they are tense when normally Kings are without injuries. So a few minutes up and down for Lyles or other players, but I don't know. That position which Len is playing is very, very difficult. Whatever coach it is, whoever coach it is, I think it's gonna be very difficult to make it what is I mean premier in the game. Do you need the rebounds from the guy? Do you need those sidelines pick and rolls and other stuff? So I don't know. I wouldn't be that harsh towards the Len or his play, because he showed us that he can play really great games.
Love it, Baki.
Yeah.
Appreciate the call, brother. Thanks for closing us out.
Yeah, appreciate you.
All right.
See you.
All right, y'all. Can we take a step back here? You guys are talking about defending Len is a joke. I'm not dying on the Alex Len hill, y'all. But I think this conversation is getting a little bit out of control, because we are like talking about a guy that when the Kings are healthy and playing correct is not going to be getting any minutes. Let me say that again. Alex Len is not on this team to play a ton of minutes. You had 3 of your core players, 3 of your 4 out for multiple games. Of course, everybody had to play. So if you want to make the argument the bench should be better, Monty should have done better, I saw that in the chat. That's a fair conversation. Mike Brown had to throw everything at the wall over the past few games to find something that would stick. And can we all agree that probably more good has come despite the win-loss record has come than bad over the last few games? I think so. Your bench has now gotten a decent amount of run, guys that would not have gotten a lot of run. So you've got an extended look at them. Isaac Jones, he's not going to be on the court. Alex Len, he's not going to be on the court. Dougie, not going to be on the court, maybe here and there. Orlando Robinson probably will get some more looks. So why don't we refocus our attention away from Alex Len and put it on Orlando Robinson, which was certainly the Kings' preference until he sprained his MCL and did not get a training camp. Let's readjust here, y'all. I get it. I love the passion. I love the passion. We all want the same thing. But I guess there's bigger things that we need to chip away at first than the Alex Len problem. I take you back to the 3-pointers. Hey, don't forget, Grant's going to be here at 8 o'clock. Join him. It'll be a fun show. He will be taking your calls. Hopefully the phone lines will be fixed by then. Huge thanks, by the way, to Bennett's for sponsoring today's show. Bennett's West Side Grill, their newest location in Rockland. 3 locations in all in the greater Sacramento area. If you do not like cooking on Thanksgiving, Bennett's is the place for you. They will be open 11 in the morning to 7 at night. Also, if you want to not cook at all and you want to have Thanksgiving at home, go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Get your pre-orders in for their Thanksgiving meals. They do the work. You enjoy the food and the holiday. You can kick your feet up, watch football, and I can promise you the food will be amazing. If you have not gotten out to Bennett's, you have got to give them a try. Prime cuts of seafood, steak, incredible portion sizes, incredible service. Also, great specials as well. Happy hour during the week, 2 to 6, Monday through Friday. Also, weekend brunch at all 3 locations. One of my favorite things, weekend prime rib and other various specials throughout the week. Bennett's, the place to be. Eat well, live well. One of my favorites for sure. When you go in there, let them know that you heard about them here on If You Don't Like That. Big thanks to Brian, Margot, the staff, and everybody at Bennett's for sponsoring today's show. That is Bennett'sRestaurants.com. All right, we are out. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we will be back we'll be back tomorrow. We've got a lot going tomorrow. You got Sean Salisbury, 3 o'clock. You've got the Kings Roundtable with Jerry Reynolds, 4 o'clock. We might even mix in an 8 o'clock show tomorrow night as well. Grant will talk more about that later. But before all that, Grant, right here on If You Don't Like That, 8 o'clock tonight. Join him. Have a great rest of the Tuesday. Go Kings! Light the damn beam. Stay away from Levine. Love y'all. Court is dismissed.